A very good evening and welcome all of you to this new session on the current affairs. So for today we will be discussing the recent increase in the foreign exchange reserves of India. So on October 9th, RBI came with a report. And what was that report? So in this report, it said that India's foreign exchange reserve, or in short, the forex reserves, they have touched a new height of $551.5 billion. So that is in itself a very huge amount of money, but it cannot be used for domestic purposes or expenditure, because if you are going to convert this huge amount of money into the national currency, it will going to create a huge amount of inflation. So this is only meant for paying your imports or for meeting the import expenditure. Now coming on to these foreign exchange reserves, these foreign exchange reserves, they are made up of different kinds of assets. For example, they include the hard currency. So what do you mean by hard currency? So hard currency means the currencies of US dollar or currencies like US dollar, euro, pound, yen and yuan. So at present in world economy, these currencies, they are called as hard currencies because they are widely accepted for international trade as well as other kinds of economic exchanges. Okay, so these are hard currencies. They are a part of our foreign exchange reserves. Okay, next is the gold. So some part of foreign exchange reserves is also kept in the form of the gold assets. Next is SDRs, or the special drawing rights. So SDR is a currency of the International Monetary Fund because each and every member of the International Monetary Fund has its own national currency. So in order to bring stability to its functioning, so it has brought this SDR, or the special drawing rights, which is a currency of what? Currency of International Monetary Fund. And the fourth thing that constitute our foreign exchange reserves is the reserve tranche with IMF. So is the reserve tranche with IMF. That means every country, it gives some parts of its finances with IMF, and these finances, they can be accessed by that country if it requires during any point of time when it is facing any kind of financial constraints. So it can access this reserve tranche without any conditions or service fees. Okay, so now moving on to the next part. So this recent increase in the foreign exchange reserves, so out of that, the maximum increase were in the foreign currency assets. So at present, the foreign currency assets in the foreign exchange reserves, they are around $508 billion, whereas the gold assets, they have also increased, and today they stand at $36.6 billion. Not only that, our SDRs, or the special drawing rights, which are kept with IMF currency, they have also increased in value. Okay, so what has happened since lockdown, or since the end of the March or the beginning of the April, that our imports have significantly declined, and as a result there has been a $75 billion increase in the foreign exchange reserves till August. Okay, so now coming on to the reasons behind such a phenomenal increase. So we are calling this as a phenomenal increase in the foreign exchange reserve. And what is the reason behind this phenomenal increase? First of all, foreign direct investment that India has received between the period of April to August 2020, that is between $24.5 billion. So this is the amount that we have received in the form of foreign direct investment. So foreign direct investment means any foreign investors, he invests into India, whether by way of establishing a manufacturing plant. Okay, so whether he establishes a manufacturing plant, so that is called FDI. He forms a joint venture with Indian company, joint venture with any Indian company, or he invests in India's infrastructure, So either through these form, if any foreign investor, he brings his investment into India, so that is called foreign direct investment. So foreign direct investment is a very preferred form of investment because it's a long-term investment, and every country in the world, whether developed or developing countries, they have depended on this foreign direct investment for their development. So between this April to August 2020 period, we have received a foreign direct investment of $24.5 billion. So that in itself is a very huge amount of foreign direct investment between this period. Second thing is this foreign portfolio investment. So how much amount we have received between April to October? That is $8.5 billion have been received over the period from April to October in the form of foreign portfolio investment. So what is this foreign portfolio investment? So you know that foreign investors, they can also invest in the shares or the equity of the Indian companies. So if any foreign investor, he invests in the shares or equity of the Indian companies, so that is called foreign portfolio investment. Okay, so this is a very less preferred form of investment because it is not permanent. It is also called as fly by night money. Okay, so whenever they think that they are going to lose money in the share market, they run away. Okay, so it is a less preferred form of investment, right? Less preferred form of investment. They invest in equity or shares of listed companies, or listed which companies? Indian companies. Okay, so they invest in the equity and the shares of the listed Indian companies. Okay, in order to make, what is their purpose for the investment? In order to make short-term gains. Okay, so that is the foreign portfolio investment. So we have received a foreign portfolio investment of around $8.5 billion within this April to October period. Also, during this period, especially from the end of March with the lockdown in force, the import bill has also declined because all over the world the demand for the crude oil declined, so the crude oil prices, they also hit a historic low. So when the prices of the crude oil decline in the international market, they are also favorable for our foreign exchange house because our import bill reduces. Also, on the second hand, the demand for the petrol and diesel in itself registered a decline during this period. Okay, because there was a very low economic activity. Okay. Fourth reason, as you all know, so discussing only the third point, that India is the third largest importer of the crude oil in the world. Okay, so we import somewhere between 70 to 80% of our crude oil requirements, right? So that is a huge burden on our exchequer. Fourth thing is that our gold imports have also declined in this period, and according to an international body called World Gold Council, our imports of gold have reduced by around 95% during this period. And as you know, as a matter of fact, that India is the largest importer of the gold in the world. So every year we import somewhere around 800 to 900 tons of gold from across the world. Recently, the government, in order to reduce this import of gold, okay, so they have imposed an import duty, increased this import duty from 10% to 12.5%. Okay, so this import duty has been increased on the gold imports in order to reduce its demand. As a result of this, some manufacturing business in the gold and jewelry sector, they are also shifting to other country because as a result of this import duty, it has become less preferable, okay, in India. So the cost of production has risen as a result of the increase in the import duty. So government has been working to reduce these gold imports over the period. Okay, so these are the four reasons. So first reason was that FDI received was very high between April to August, 24.5 billion. Second is the FPI received was $8.5 billion. So there was a dip in the import bill because of the decline in the crude oil prices. Also, there was a decline in the imports of the gold. So these resulted in a decline in our import expenditure, and as a result our exports, which were in a good health, okay, in some of these months. So for the very first time in many decades or many years, we have been able to achieve the current account surplus. So this current account, it captures that financial transactions that take place within a single year. For example, this current account, it has two parts. Okay, one is your debit part where you make the payments, and one is the credit part. So debit is when you pay for your imports. Okay, so you are paying for your imports through foreign exchange reserves and through a foreign currency. For example, when we import crude oil, we pay for our imports through US dollars and from our foreign exchange reserves. And second is the credit part. So how do we get foreign exchange reserves? That is through exports. Okay, so this is the credit part where we get foreign exchange reserves when we export items, and when we import we have to pay. So that comes a burden or a debit on the foreign exchange reserves. So that is the current account. So it captures financial transactions in a financial year. Okay, so this current account, it captures financial transactions which take place in the current condition where we have received more foreign currency rather than paying more foreign exchange reserves for imports. So what are the benefits of this increased foreign exchange reserves? So first benefit, that it provides a cushion to economy, okay, in terms of coverage of import expenditure. Okay, so it provides a cushion to the economy in terms of coverage of import expenditure. So at present, these foreign exchange reserves, they can meet our import requirements for a period of 12 months. That is 1 year. So they are enough to meet our imports requirement for a period of 1 year. So that is in itself a very big relief. Second thing is that there is a stability. So foreign exchange reserves, they provide a stability to the domestic currency. Okay, so they provide a stability to the domestic currency. So RBI can sell these dollars in the financial market in order to bring down the value of the rupee or to increase the value of the rupee. So what happened during this April period, that rupee touched a low of 76.9 rupees. Okay, 76.9 rupees per dollar. But during October, this has come to rupees 73.3 per dollar. So for every dollar you want to receive, you have to pay 73.3 rupees in October, but in April you had to pay 76.9 rupees. So it has provided a stability to the domestic currency. Okay. Now the third point is that it provides a macroeconomic stability. In terms of inflation, your deficits, they reduce. You are able to cover your deficits. Okay, for example, the current account deficit can be covered or can be dealt with. Okay, can be dealt with. So these are the benefits. So what are the benefits? First of all, that they provide a cushion to the economy in terms of coverage of the import expenditure. So at present, our foreign exchange reserves, they can meet our import requirements of 12 months or 1 year. Second thing is that they provide stability to the domestic currency, as we have seen that in April, for every 76.9 rupees you got $1. But in October, due to this increased reserves, okay, the rupees stabilized around 73.3 rupees per dollar. Third thing is that it provides macroeconomic stability, whether you see in the terms of the inflation. Also, you are able to cover your current account deficit. So these are the benefits of the increase in the foreign exchange reserves. So that was all from my part on the foreign exchange reserve. So I will see you in a new video on a new topic. So till then, take care. Thank you. And if you like this video, please like and share it as much as possible.